Wang Chan. Wang Chan is one of the creepy early villains from Jojo's bizarre adventure Phantom Blood, basically proving that Dio will hire literally anyone with bad vibes and questionable hygiene. Originally, Wang Chan was a black market merchant and fortune teller living in Ogre Street, the roughest slum in London. He first met Dio Brando when Dio bought poison from him to kill his own father, and instead of being horrified like a normal person, Wang Chan thought, wow, this kid has potential. He even predicted Dio would survive impossible situations thanks to his insane luck, which turned out to be terrifyingly accurate. After Dio became a vampire using the stone mask, Wang Chan searched the burned Joestar mansion hoping to sell the mask for profit, but instead found Dio half dead. Dio rewarded this totally not greedy behavior by sucking his blood and turning him into a zombie servant. As a human, Wang Chan specialized in fortune-telling and Eastern poisons, but as a zombie, he gained enhanced strength, agility, huge jumps, claws sharp enough to kill with one swipe, and the durability all Jojo zombies seem to get from refusing to stay dead. Despite acting loyal, he also spent most fights either hiding, running away, or carrying Dio's severed head around like the world's worst Uber delivery job. Eventually, Jonathan Joestar destroyed him with ripple energy during the final battle aboard a ship, ending Wang Chan's long career of bad decisions forever. Tarkus. Tarkus is one of the terrifying antagonists from Jojo's bizarre adventure Phantom Blood, and honestly, he looks like the kind of guy who skips leg day because every day is already upper body day. Originally, Tarkus was a massive knight from 16th century Britain who served Queen Mary Stuart alongside his partner Bruford. After Mary was betrayed by Queen Elizabeth I, Tarkus and Bruford surrendered in exchange for her supposed freedom, only to discover they had been tricked and Mary had already been executed. Furious beyond reason, Tarkus cursed Elizabeth before his own execution, and legend says his neck became so tough from rage that multiple execution axes broke before finally cutting his head off, which is probably the angriest neck in anime history. Centuries later, Dio Brando resurrected Tarkus as a zombie servant, turning him into an even more violent monster, obsessed with crushing Jonathan Joestar. Tarkus's power mainly comes from his absurd physical strength, endurance, and brutal combat skill. He could smash boulders with a finger, survive impacts that could destroy his bones, wield giant weapons effortlessly, and dominate opponents in his deadly chain neck deathmatch. As one of the few knights to complete the trial of the 77 rings, he was already legendary as a human, but becoming a zombie amplified everything into nightmare levels. Basically, Tarkus fights like a medieval tank that accidentally learned professional wrestling.
Wamuu. Wamuu is one of the main antagonists in the manga and anime series Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically in the Battle Tendency arc. He is a proud and honorable Pillarman warrior who serves under Kars and Esidisi while becoming the personal rival of Joseph Joestar. Born around 10,000 BC and possibly originating from the American continent, Wamuu spent thousands of years searching for the Red Stone of Aja before awakening beneath the Roman Colosseum in 1939. Unlike many villains, Wamuu fights with genuine warrior pride, respecting strong opponents, and even giving Joseph a chance to train instead of instantly killing him, which is surprisingly polite for a giant ancient superhuman who eats people for breakfast. Wamuu's powers are centered around his terrifying wind mode, which lets him manipulate razor-sharp air currents capable of slicing through rocks and humans alike. His signature attacks include the Divine Sandstorm and Atmospheric Rift, both using compressed wind with enough force to turn a battlefield into a blender. He also possesses immense strength, body manipulation, absorption abilities, and a special horn that senses movement through the air like a biological radar. His anti-ripple headgear can even counter energy-based attacks, proving he came prepared for battle, and apparently for very aggressive weather forecasts too. Despite being a deadly monster, Wamuu is remembered as one of the most honorable and respected enemies in the entire JoJo series.
Esidisi. Esidisi is one of the main villains in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Battle Tendency, and a member of the terrifying Pillarmen, an ancient superhuman race older than 12,000 years. He serves as Kars' loyal right-hand man and fully supports the plan to conquer the sun using the Red Stone of Aja, which already sounds like the kind of idea a supervillain pitches at 3 a.m. with zero sleep. Esidisi originally came from the American continent before traveling with Kars across the world, eventually ending up beneath the Roman Colosseum, where the Pillarmen slept for centuries, waiting to awaken. Unlike the calm and honorable Wamuu, Esidisi is more sadistic, smug, and weirdly emotional. Whenever he gets too angry, he starts loudly sobbing and throwing tantrums just to calm himself down, which makes him one of the few JoJo villains who can go from terrifying monster to dramatic theater kid in seconds. His main power comes from his flame mode abilities, where he superheats his own blood until it literally boils. He can extend his blood vessels like living whips and inject boiling blood into enemies to cook them from the inside out, which is somehow even worse than it sounds. Esidisi can also manipulate his body like the other Pillarmen, survive as just a nervous system, and even possess other people. The man swallowed dynamite without blinking, so clearly basic survival rules stopped applying to him thousands of years ago.
Enya the Hag. Enya the Hag is one of the creepiest villains in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, proving that old ladies in anime are either sweet grandmas or absolute nightmares with zero middle ground. Also known as Enya Gale, she serves as one of Dio's most loyal followers and acts like his #1 fangirl long before stan culture existed. She is the mother of J. Gale, the user of Hanged Man, and after his death, she becomes obsessed with revenge against Jotaro's group. Enya is famous for her unsettling appearance, her constant creepy laughter, and the fact that she somehow runs faster than people half her age despite looking like she should be feeding pigeons in a park. Her origin is tied closely to Dio because she was one of the people who helped him understand stands, and she even bought the mysterious stand arrows from Diavolo, making her indirectly responsible for many stand users existing in later parts of the series. Her stand, Justice, is a giant fog-like stand with terrifying abilities. Justice can enter tiny wounds on a person's body and control them like puppets, meaning even a paper cut becomes a terrible life decision around her. She can also create illusions and manipulate entire groups of people at once, turning a whole town into her creepy stage play. Ironically, despite controlling everyone else, Enya herself ends up completely losing control near the end of her story. Hol Horse. Hol Horse is one of the most entertaining villains in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, mostly because he acts like a fearless cowboy until things become slightly dangerous, then suddenly remembers he has somewhere else to be. He works as a hitman for Dio, and first appears during the Emperor and Hanged Man arc alongside his partner, J. Gale. Hol Horse comes from Eastern Europe in the spin-off lore, and lives by the motto that being #2 is safer than being #1, which perfectly explains why he constantly teams up with other stand users instead of fighting alone. Despite acting cocky and flirtatious, he is actually clever, opportunistic, and surprisingly self-aware. He even attempted to shoot Dio once, making him one of the few followers brave or stupid enough to try it. His stand, Emperor, is a handgun he can summon directly into his hand. Unlike a normal revolver, Emperor fires bullets whose paths Hol Horse can fully control, allowing them to curve around corners, chase enemies, and basically ignore the concept of fair play. The stand pairs perfectly with his trick shot skills and cowboy style, though Hol Horse still prefers backup, because deep down he knows getting punched by a muscular ghost is bad for his health. Fans also love him because creator Hirohiko Araki once considered making him join the heroes, which honestly explains why he feels more like a chaotic outlaw than a true supervillain.
Keicho Nijimura. Keicho Nijimura is one of the early antagonists in Diamond is Unbreakable, and the older brother of Okuyasu Nijimura. Unlike his loud and chaotic brother, Keicho is calm, strategic, and constantly acts like he's already 10 moves ahead in a chess match nobody else agreed to play. His backstory is honestly tragic enough to make even a stand cry. After their mother died, Keicho and Okuyasu were abused by their father, who later transformed into a horrifying immortal monster because of his connection to Dio. Since their father could regenerate from almost anything, Keicho used the mysterious bow and arrow to create stand users around Morio, hoping one of them would finally be strong enough to put his father out of his misery. Unfortunately, his recruitment strategy was basically surprise supernatural stabbing, which is not exactly HR approved. His stand, Bad Company, is one of the coolest and funniest stands in Part 4 because it's literally a tiny army. It includes miniature soldiers, tanks, helicopters, missiles, and paratroopers that obey Keicho like a military commander. Imagine trying to fight a guy and suddenly getting ambushed by toy soldiers with actual explosives.
Keicho himself is intelligent and dangerous, but also weirdly dramatic, the kind of guy who would probably label his lunch classified military rations. Akira Otoishi. Akira Otoishi is one of the main villains from Jojo's bizarre adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, and he is basically what happens when a rock guitarist gets way too much electricity and absolutely no chill. Akira is a 19-year-old aspiring rock star obsessed with becoming the next Jimi Hendrix or Jeff Beck, carrying his electric guitar around everywhere like it is legally part of his body. He was originally just another guy in Morio until Keicho Nijimura shot him with the bow and arrow, awakening his stand, Red Hot Chili Pepper. Instead of using this power responsibly like a normal person, Akira immediately decided crime, murder, and dramatic guitar solos were the better career path. Red Hot Chili Pepper is an electricity-based stand that can travel through electrical currents, power lines, wires, televisions, and basically anything plugged into a wall, which means your toaster is never truly safe around him. The more electricity it absorbs, the stronger and faster it becomes, eventually powerful enough to fight stands like Crazy Diamond directly. Akira used it to spy on people, attack enemies remotely, and move across Morio's entire electrical grid at terrifying speed. Unfortunately, despite all his power, Akira's greatest weakness is that he talks too much, flexes constantly, and somehow manages to reveal important information while acting cool, proving once again that anime villains would win more often if they simply stopped monologuing.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching until the end. I'll be back with more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe.